Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're going to unpack something
Okay.
that you probably interact with all the time, honestly,
Mhm.
and that's customer surveys. You know
Right.
those questionnaires that
Okay.
pop up after you buy something or use a service?
Yeah.
We're going to be exploring how they are evolving from those static forms we all know
Right.
and maybe dread into something way more dynamic
Yeah,
and insightful.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating how crucial surveys have become, especially now when
Right.
businesses are navigating a world where consumer trends are constantly changing.
Yeah, they are.
It's no longer enough to just guess what people want.
Right, yeah.
Surveys offer that critical connection to what consumers are actually thinking and feeling.
Yeah, they're almost like a company's lifeline to the outside world, right?
Exactly. And it's not just about gathering data anymore.
Right.
It's about understanding those deeper whys behind consumer choices.
Hmm.
So, for example, imagine a restaurant owner using surveys to uncover that a dip in sales
Okay.
isn't just due to a new menu,
Well,
but because the overall dining experience feels rushed.
wow.
That kind of insight is gold.
That's a great example. It really highlights how surveys can act like that canary in the coal mine,
Hmm.
alerting businesses to issues they might not have noticed otherwise.
Absolutely. And just like the world is constantly evolving,
Mm.
so are the surveys themselves.
Okay.
Think about how much technology has changed just in the past few years.
Oh, yeah.
Surveys need to keep pace to stay relevant.
So what are some of those key changes?
Okay.
What does a modern survey look like compared to those old school ones?
Well, first off, no one wants to feel like they're filling out a tax form.
Right.
You know,
Uh,
the
yeah.
modern survey has to be engaging
Yeah.
and visually appealing.
Okay.
It needs to be user-friendly, almost like using your favorite app.
Okay, so ease of use is a big factor. What else is changing?
Think personalization. Imagine receiving a survey tailored to your past experiences with a company.
Okay.
Instead of generic questions,
Right.
you're asked about specific products you've purchased or services you've used.
Oh, okay.
That level of personalization not only makes you feel valued,
Right.
it also provides much richer data for the business.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach
Yeah.
and recognizing that each customer has unique needs and preferences.
Yeah.
So how are companies actually building these
Yeah.
supercharged surveys? Are there specific platforms they're using?
There are some incredibly powerful tools out there now.
Okay.
One of the leading platforms is Microsoft Customer Voice.
Okay.
It's built for gathering feedback and seamlessly integrates with other Microsoft products like Dynamics 365.
So Dynamics 365, for those who aren't
Let's
familiar,
sure.
can you give us a quick rundown of what that is
Of course.
and why this integration is so significant?
So Microsoft Dynamics 365 is a suite of business applications that help companies manage their customer relationships, their sales and operations,
Okay.
by integrating with customer voice.
Right.
Businesses can get a much more complete picture of their customers,
Okay.
drawing insights from both their feedback and their interactions across different touch points.
Okay, so it's about connecting the dots.
Yeah.
It's not just about what customers say in a survey,
Right.
but how that feedback aligns with their actual behavior and purchase history.
Exactly.
That seems like a huge advantage.
It is. And Microsoft Customer Voice has some other key features that make it stand out.
Okay.
For example, it allows businesses to collect feedback in real time, meaning they can react quickly to changing trends or emerging issues.
That agility must be so valuable in today's fast-paced world.
It is.
But I understand there's another player in the game, a company called Pobuca, that's taking things even further.
Right.
What makes their approach so special?
What's really exciting about Pobuca Surveys is that they build upon the foundation of Microsoft Customer Voice and then layer on additional features that really focus on user experience and data insights.
Yeah.
For instance, one of the things that sets them apart is their incredibly intuitive drag-and-drop interface for building surveys.
I've heard a lot about that drag and drop feature. It sounds incredibly user-friendly.
It is. Even someone with no prior experience in designing surveys can create professional-looking questionnaires in minutes.
Wow.
It's that simple. And they also offer incredibly powerful reporting tools,
Okay.
allowing businesses to unlock hidden patterns in the data without having to pay extra for those advanced analytics.
So they're making those advanced analytics features accessible to a wider audience.
Exactly. And they're also doing some really innovative things with personalization,
Okay.
allowing businesses to tailor surveys to specific customer segments or even individual preferences.
Oh, wow.
It's about moving beyond those generic one-size-fits-all surveys and
Right.
creating something that feels more like a dialogue with each customer.
So while all of this sounds incredibly powerful, It's important to remember that behind all this technology, there are real people.
Right.
For someone who maybe isn't immersed in the world of market research,
Yeah.
why should they care about all these advancements in survey technology?
That's a great question. Ultimately, it boils down to creating better experiences for everyone.
Okay.
For businesses, it means gaining a deeper understanding of their customers,
Mm.
which leads to smarter decisions and ultimately products and services that people truly love.
And for the consumer, what does it mean for them?
It means feeling heard and valued.
Okay.
Imagine a world where your feedback actually shapes the products you use, the services you rely on.
Right.
That's the promise of these evolving survey technologies.
Mm.
It's about moving beyond a transactional relationship and creating a genuine sense of partnership between businesses and their customers.
That's a great point. As consumers, we often feel like our feedback disappears into a void. Yeah. To know that companies are actually using our insights to improve their offerings is empowering. But I'm curious, where do you see this all heading in the future?
Right.
What other innovations might we see down the road?
That's where things get really exciting as technology continues to advance. We're going to see even more creative approaches to gathering and analyzing feedback.
Yep.
Think about the potential of artificial intelligence
Yeah.
to analyze not just the words people use in surveys, but also their tone of voice or even their facial expressions.
So we're talking about understanding not just what people are saying, but how they're feeling when they say it.
Precisely. It's about capturing those subtle nuances in human emotion and incorporating them into the data analysis.
Okay.
We might even see surveys that adapt in real time based on your responses,
Wow.
creating a truly personalized and interactive experience.
That's incredible. It's like
Yeah.
having a conversation with the survey itself. It almost feels like science fiction, but it's happening right now.
It is, and it's important to remember that with all these technological advancements come ethical considerations.
Right.
As we gather more data, more nuanced data, the responsibility to use it ethically and responsibly becomes even greater.
That's a crucial point. It's not just about collecting data for data's sake.
Hmm.
It's about using those insights to create positive change, to build better products, to foster stronger connections between companies and their customers.
Absolutely. And for businesses, it's not just about gathering data, it's also about transparency.
Okay.
It's about being open with customers about how their feedback is being used, why it's being collected,
Right.
and what steps are being taken to protect their privacy.
Transparency and trust go hand in hand, especially in this data-driven age. But with all this talk about advanced technology, it's easy to get lost in the bells and whistles.
Right.
Let's bring it back to basics for a moment. For all the business leaders and entrepreneurs listening out there,
Yeah.
what's the one key message you want them to take away from this deep dive?
Don't underestimate the power of listening to your customers.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to embrace new technologies that can help you listen more effectively.
Hmm.
These tools are not just about collecting data. They're about building bridges of understanding between you and the people you serve.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's about using these tools to foster trust, to build stronger relationships, and ultimately to create a better experience for everyone involved.
Well said. And for our listeners who maybe aren't running businesses but are still passionate about shaping the world around them,
What's the message for them?
stay curious, stay engaged, and don't be shy about sharing your own feedback.
Okay.
Whether it's through surveys, social media, or simply having a conversation with the companies you interact with,
Yeah.
your voice matters. You have the power to influence the products and services you use every day, so don't be afraid to speak up.
It's so empowering to think that we as consumers can actually play a role in shaping the products and services we use.
Absolutely.
Our feedback isn't just disappearing into the ether.
Yeah.
It can spark real change.
It absolutely can. And the more thoughtful and constructive our feedback is,
Right.
the more effectively companies can use it to create positive change.
It all circles back to that idea we talked about earlier, surveys, as a company's canary in the coal mine.
Mm-hmm.
With all these advancements in technology,
Right.
those canaries are getting a serious upgrade.
Yeah,
They're becoming more sensitive, more insightful,
for sure.
able to detect even the subtlest shifts in consumer sentiment.
Exactly. And as the world becomes increasingly complex,
Right.
that level of insight is going to be essential for businesses to thrive and adapt.
It's almost like those canaries are evolving into super-powered sensors,
Yeah,
equipped with the latest AI and data analysis capabilities.
That's a great way to put it, and the beauty of it is that these advancements benefit both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
Companies gain invaluable insights,
Right.
and consumers get to experience products and services that are truly tailored to their needs and preferences.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of customer surveys,
Okay.
what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that this is all about connection.
Okay.
It's about using technology to build bridges of understanding between businesses and their customers.
Hmm.
It's about fostering a sense of partnership
Right.
where feedback is valued and acted upon.
Right.
And ultimately, it's about creating a world where everyone feels heard and empowered to shape the experiences they have with the products and services they use every day.
That's a beautiful thought to end on. So to all our listeners out there,
Yeah.
keep those feedback loops open. Keep those conversations going.
Okay.
And remember that your voice matters.
Absolutely.